Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Once again, Master Tutorials where mathematics literacy begins. Alright, let's proceed with our course with general mathematics objective test. That's the LODEC 2022 solutions. We are still on question 16. So this time around, we are doing 16, 17, 18, 19, then 20. So now, we have this question. That's logical reasoning. So we do that in form 3. Senior high school 3. So consider the statement. You have this statement P. Locally produced batteries are attractive. Listen very well. Then you have statement Q. Most locally produced batteries do not last long. Again, consider the statement. Statement P, we have what? Locally produced batteries are attractive. Then statement Q, we have most locally produced batteries do not last long. They said we should write in symbolic form. The battery in my torchlight has lasted for a long time and is attractive. Write in symbolic form. The battery in my torchlight has lasted for a long time and is attractive. So, so this time around, we should use mathematical symbols, right, to represent this English statement, right? Okay. So now, let's see this statement. They've given us statement P, then statement Q. Then we have another statement here. The battery in my torchlight has lasted for a long time and is attractive. So it means that we have conjunction here. They've combined what? The two statements, which is what? P and Q, to form what? One single statement. We've combined what? Statement P and statement Q. Initially, we have what? Two statements. And this time around, we have only one statement, which means that statement P and statement Q have been what? Combined to get what? One single what? Statement using the conjunction word and. Right. So the battery in my torchlight has lasted for a long time and is attractive. Now listen, let's see for statement P. Locally produced batteries are attractive. Let's see whether we can get statement P inside. The battery in my torchlight has lasted for a long time and is attractive. Okay, let's see statement Q. Most locally produced batteries do not last long. Alright, let's see statement Q. The battery in my torchlight has lasted for a long time. Statement Q again. Most locally produced batteries do not last long. Then now, they are saying that what? The single statement here, they are saying the battery in my torchlight has lasted for a long time. But here, statement Q, they are saying that what? Do not last long. But here, they are saying that what? Has lasted. So, which implies that we have what? The opposite of this Q, which means the negation. The whole of this is the negation of what? Is the negation of Q. So we call it the negation of what? Q. The negation of Q, because that's the opposite of this statement Q. And which means we've combined that it's attractive. So locally produced batteries are attractive. So and is what? Attractive, which is statement P. Still statement P is the what? Is the same thing. But this time around, let's see and in symbolic form, or when you want a mathematical symbol for and in logical reasoning, then it is this guy. It is this guy. And this one is all. So if you see that, take note. All. Then this one means what? Implies. Implies. Then this one is what? If and only if. If and only if symbol. That's the if and only if symbol. So this time around, we are taking what? And so this is a symbol for and. That's the symbol for and. So we can say that what? P and what? Kill, right? P and the negation of what? Kill. So we have the negation of kill, which is that. Then we have this P. So I go in for what? Option C. I go in for option C. So I can say that the battery in my torchlight has lasted for a long time. But if you come to statement Q, most locally produced batteries do not last long, which means that that's the opposite of this kill. So that's the negation of kill. And it's what? Attractive. So they are saying that this P is the same thing as that. So there is no negation of P. It's the same thing as P. So we go in for what? Option C, because this and the symbol for and is this guy. All right. All right. So let's see question 17. We have the we have a diagram on the board. That's a geometry. They are saying that in the diagram, line PQ, is parallel to line what? RS. Find the size of the angle marked X. Find the size of the angle marked X. So how can we find for the size of the angle marked X? So now let's see. How can we find for the angle marked X? So now, with this, I can say that this angle here corresponds to this angle here. So here will be what? 52 degrees. This angle corresponds to this angle here. So I can denote here as, let's say, angle K. Then here, let's say angle L. So I can say that angle K is equal to angle L, which is equal to 52 degrees. Why? Corresponding angles are equal. Corresponding angles are equal. Corresponding angles are equal. Then we can proceed and say that this angle 52 is vertically opposite to this angle 52 degrees here. So I can say that what? Vertically opposite angles are what? Equal. So here is 52, here also is what? 52. So I can denote this angle here as, let's say, angle M. So I can say that angle M is equal to what? Angle L. Angle L, which is what? 52 degrees. Right, 52 degrees. Or it's like I'll be confusing you guys. Watch here again. So here is what? Angle M. Let's watch again. It's like I'll be confusing you guys. Watch here again. Here is 52. Then here, let's say I'll denote here as what? M. Alright. So here as M. Angle M. Angle M. Then here as what? Angle K. Here is angle K. So I can say that what? Angle K equals what? Angle M, which is equal to what? 52 degrees. Why? Because I said that what? Corresponding angles are equal. Corresponding angles are equal. Right. Then we can say that this angle 52 is equal to this angle 52 here. So let's say here is angle L, right? So angle L. So I can say that angle M is equal to what? Angle L, which is equal to 52 degrees. Why? Because I can see that vertically opposite angles are equal. Vertically opposite angles are equal. So if here is 52 degrees, here also is what? 52 degrees. Why? Because they are what? Equal. So I can see that vertically opposite angles are what? Equal. So if I have here to be 52, then I can consider the whole of this triangle, right? So I can consider the whole of that triangle there. So So here's angle L. Then let's say here's my N. Then here's my T. So my T. So my 52 is present here. My X is here. Then my 35. Right. So now we have a three-dimensional shape, right, which is a triangle or a trigon. So the sum of interior angles inside what a triangle is what 180 degrees. So I can say that angle T plus angle N plus angle L must be equal to 180 degrees. Why? Because sum of interior sum of interior angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. So I have this. So now angle T is what 35 degrees plus angle N is X, then plus angle L 52 degrees, which must be equal to 180 degrees. So now let me clean this side. So I can group like terms and write what 35 degrees plus 52 degrees plus X, which is equal to 180 degrees. So 35 plus 52, which is 87 degrees, plus my X equals 180 degrees. So I group like this. 180 degrees minus 87 degrees. So my S must be equal to 93 degrees. So my X is 93 degrees, which is option A for apple. Option A for apple. Alright, question 18. Find the size of an interior angle of a regular nonagon. Find the size of an interior angle of a regular nonagon. Now, a regular nonagon. Nonagon is a plane shape, right? Or a plane figure. Or we can say that it's a polygon bounded by what? Straight sides. And the straight sides, they are what? 9. It has 9 sides. So that's a 9-sided figure, which is a nonagon. So a regular nonagon means that all the sides are what? Equal, and all the interior angles inside this nonagon are what? Equal. So they said we should find the size of an interior angle. So which means they want what? One interior angle. So the interior angle of a regular nonagon must be equal to, so we have to find for the sum of interior angles, then we divide it by what? The number. We divide it by the number of sides, right? So now I can say that the sum of interior angles is n minus 2 times my 180 degrees, all divided by the number of sides. We denote it as what? N, right? So we can say that where n equals 9 because it has 9 sides. So now I can proceed that wherever I see n, I substitute in what? 9. So I have 9 minus 2 times 180 degrees, all divided by 9. So 9 minus 2, we obtain 7 times 180 degrees, all divided by 9. 9 to the self 1, then into 180, we have 20 degrees. So we have 7 times 20 degrees, then 7 times 2, we get 14, then minus 0. So we have 140 degrees. So hence, we can say that the size of an interior angle is 140 degrees, which goes to option A. Option A for up. Option A for up. All right, let's see this question. Question 19. Given that sine p equals 5 over 13, where p is acute, find the value of cos p minus tan p. Again, given that sine p equals 5 over 13, where p is acute, find the value of cos p minus tan p. So now, p is an angle, right? This p is an angle. Then they are saying that P, which is an angle, it must be what? Acute, which means acute angle. An acute angle, the angle which is what? Greater than 0 degrees, but it is less than what? 90 degrees. The angle is greater than 0 degrees, but less than 90 degrees. Or there are angles whose measure is greater than 0 degrees, but less than 90 degrees. So I can say that P must be within this range 1 degrees, 0 degrees here. It must be greater than 0 degrees, but it must be less than 90 degrees. So it must be between this range, which means it must start from 1 degrees, 2 degrees, 3 degrees, 4 degrees, then up towards 89 degrees. So we have to get P to be that. So P must be within this range if and only if P is an acute angle. All right. So now let's proceed. So sine P. So sine P, which is equal to 5 over 13. So now we have something here. Let's see. We have, let's see, cast, which is all my first quadrant, second, third, then fourth quadrant. Here sine is positive, then here 2, sine 2 is positive. Here sine is negative, then here sine 2 is negative. So I can use either the first quadrant or the second quadrant. So I can use, let me use the second quadrant, which is only sine, which must be negative here, right? So only sine. Or let's go with all. Let's go with all. Let's go with all. That one too is possible. So let's go with all. I love drawing right angle triangle like that. So I have my right angled triangle, right? So now I can denote here to be my P, which is an acute angle, right? So now here I have my sine P, which must be equal to 5 over 13. And we know that sine is what? So, which is opposite over what? Hypotenuse. Opposite over hypotenuse. Now, where the angle faces, this angle P, where it faces becomes what? The opposite. And this opposite is 5. Then my hypotenuse is what? 13. Right. Then the hypotenuse, where this 90 degrees faces, becomes what? The hypotenuse. So here is what? 13. 13. 13. 13. So I have this, which is 13. So I can find for my adjacent using Pythagoras theorem. In Pythagoras theorem, that it states that what? The square on the hypotenuse must be equal to this square, then this square, then we sum that. So I can see that here must be y. So I get my y squared plus my 5 squared. So I group like things, 13 squared minus 5 squared equals y squared. So I can say that y squared must be equal to 13 squared is what? 169 minus 5 squared, 25, which means 13 times 13. Then here 5 times 5. So now I take square roots on both sides of the equation. So I get this one cancels that. Then my y being equal to 169 minus 25, we get what? 144. Then square root of 144 gives us what? Plus or minus plus or minus 12. But this time around, we are not dealing with negative. We are dealing with what? Positive, because we are dealing with the length. So we take y, therefore y must be equal to 12. Y must be equal to 12. Y must be equal to 12. So here is 12, right? Here is 12. So we now know all the size of this right angled triangle. We now know the size of the right angled triangle. So now they said we should find the value of cos p minus tan p. Then now, what is cos p? Cos p, cos is adjacent over hypotenuse. Adjacent over what? Hypotenuse. Now the adjacent is 12 now. Then hypotenuse is what? 13. So we have 12 over what? 13. Then my tan p. Tan is 12. That's opposite over adjacent. Opposite over adjacent. Opposite is 5. Then my adjacent is 12. Right? Opposite is 5. Then my adjacent is 12. Again, my cos is adjacent hypotenuse. So adjacent is 12, then hypotenuse 13. So we get 12 over 13. Then my tan is what? 12, which is opposite adjacent. So opposite is what? 5. Then my adjacent is what? 12. So I get 5 over 12. But we are not looking for this. We said we should find for the value of cos p minus tan p. When we subtract tan p from cos p, what is left? The difference. So now let's see. So I have my cos p. So cos p minus tan p. My cos p is what? 12 over 13 minus tan p, which is 5 on what? 12. 5 on 12. So now here, we can subtract. Which, when we subtract 13 times 12, which gives 156. So this one becomes a subtraction of what? Fraction, right? So 13 goes into 156. How many times? 12 times. 12 times 12, we get 144, minus 12 goes into 156. How many times? 13 times. 13 times 5, which gives what? 65. So now this time around, 144 minus 65, which we obtain 79. Then 79 divided by 156. 79 divided by 156. So therefore, our answer is option D for dog. Option D for dog. So now let's see question 20. We have another diagram given. In the diagram, the length of line PQ is equal to the length of line PR, and which is equal to the length of line RS. And angle RPS equals 32 degrees. Find the value of angle QPR. So in the diagram, the length of line segment with PQ is equal to the length of line segment PR, which must be equal to the length of line segment RS. And angle RPS, which is the letter in the middle, that's the angle we are focusing. That's the letter in the middle. Is the angle, which is 32 degrees. Find the value of angle QPR. So we have RPS, which is that. So they said we should find for QPR. So we are finding for this guy here. So now here, how best can we find for that? Let's consider this triangle. We consider triangle RPS. We consider triangle RPS. So this triangle here. So let's consider triangle RPS. So we have this, which which is here 32 degrees. Then if these two lines, this length is equal to this length is equal to this length, then that means their base angles too are equal. So here also is what, 32 degrees, right? So here also is 32 degrees. Then I can find for this angle here, right? Using the triangle properties, we state that what the sum of interior angles in a triangle is what, 180 degrees. So I can say that we have two 32 degrees there, so I can say that twice of 32 degrees plus my angle what, r, must be equal to 180 degrees. So we have what, 64 degrees plus angle r equals 180 degrees. So angle r equals 180 degrees minus 64 degrees. So I have my angle r equals, when you subtract 64 from 180, which we obtain 116 degrees, 116 degrees, 116 degrees. So here is 116 degrees, and here is 32 degrees. That's an isosceles triangle. So if two sides are equal, then that means their base angles to must be what, equal. Now we have a straight line there. So adjacent angles on a straight line add up to what, 180. Adjacent angles on a straight line add up to what, 180 degrees. So I can say that here is what, m. So I can write angle m plus my 116 degrees equals what, 180 degrees. So we can group like terms, then we can write it as what, angle m equals 180 degrees minus 116 degrees, which we obtain 64 degrees, So here too is what, 64 degrees. So if here is 64 degrees, then again we have what, two sides are equal, then that means their base angles too must be what, equal. So if their base angles are equal, then what should we do? We can find for this angle, right? So we can find for this angle P. So now then we can say that twice of this 64 degrees plus angle P equals 180 degrees. Using the same triangle properties, we state that what, the sum of interior angles in a triangle is what, 180 degrees. So 2, 4, I have 8, then 2, 6, 12, 128 degrees plus angle P equals 180 degrees. So angle P equals 180 degrees minus 128 degrees. So angle P equals, we subtract 128 from that, then we get 52 degrees. So we get here to be 52 degrees. So which is option A. Option A for apple. Alright, so the value of angle QPR is what? 52 degrees. Angle QPR is 52 degrees. Thank you for subscribing to Massa Tutorials. Alright, so we are done with 16 to 20. We are done with the questions within that range. So that's the 5 questions. In our next meeting on our YouTube channel, which is the tutorial section, we'll be doing 21 to 25, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Sit down and learn very hard. Alright, see you.